Hello, and welcome back to the Striha Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Parker Striha, and on today's episode, we are going to be discussing my predictions for the NFL honors. I'm by no means a professional, but I do love talking about sports, so thank you for joining me. Despite there being roughly 19 awards given, I will only be making predictions for the Big Seven, including the MVP and Coach of the Year on today's episode. Now, I did do a spoof version of this for one of my classes that I am more than willing to post if you guys want me to, but these are my real predictions for these awards. For the MVP, I have Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. This past season, Aaron Rodgers threw for 4,115 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions for an impressive 9.25 touchdown to interception ratio, which is out of this world. He also carried the ball 33 times for 101 yards and 3 touchdowns. Green Bay had a 13-4 record on the season, and they were 13-3 in games that Rodgers started. My honorable mention is Tom Brady, the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My Coach of the Year is Matt LaFleur, the head coach for the Green Bay Packers. This past year, Green Bay posted an impressive record of 13-4, and over the past 3 years combined, Green Bay has went 39-10 in the regular season, despite a lowly 3-3 record in the playoffs. Green Bay has been dominant despite no Super Bowl wins or appearances since LaFleur became the head coach, but he still hasn't won Coach of the Year. So I think after an impressive season, despite not winning the Super Bowl, I think it's finally time to give him credit and give him the award that he deserves. This past season, the offense averaged 365.6 yards a game, which was 10th in the league, and they were also 10th in the league for points per game with 26.5. And the defense averaged 328.2 yards per game, which was 9th in the league, and they only allowed 21.8 points per game, which was 14th. My honorable mention for Coach of the Year is Zach Taylor, the head coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. My pick for Comeback Player of the Year is Joe Burrow, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. This past season, Burrow threw for 4,611 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions on the way to leading the Bengals to a 10-7 record and an AFC North title. In his rookie year, Burrow threw 2,688 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions before tearing his ACL in Week 11 versus Washington football team. Now, it is just a regular season award, but I do think it is very impressive that Joe Burrow has led the Bengals through 3 playoff games and into the Super Bowl. So I think he is the rightful Comeback Player of the Year. My honorable mention is Nick Bosa, the defensive end for the San Francisco 49ers. My pick for Offensive Player of the Year is Cooper Kupp, a wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams. He finished the season with 145 receptions for 1,947 yards and 16 touchdowns. He was the NFL's Triple Crown winner because he led the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He equaled almost 40% of Matthew Stafford's passing yards and 39% of Matthew Stafford's touchdowns this season. He was a key part in the Rams going 12-5 and winning the NFC West this season. On top of all the impressive stats he put up, there were records he was close to breaking. He was 18 yards away from breaking the single-season receiving yard record, which was set by Calvin Johnson in 2012, 5 catches from breaking the single-season receptions record, which was set by Michael Thomas in 2019, and he was 8 touchdowns away from breaking the single-season receiving touchdown record set by Randy Moss in 2007. My honorable mention for the Offensive Player of the Year is Jonathan Taylor, the running back for the Indianapolis Colts. My pick for the Defensive Player of the Year is TJ Watt, an edge rusher from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He finished the season with 22.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 21 tackles for loss. He led the league in sacks, with the next closest being Robert Quinn from the Chicago Bears with 18.5 sacks. He tied the single-season sack record, which was set by Michael Strahan in 2001, and he did it in less games. This season, he had 22.5 sacks in 15 games, which is completely mind-blowing. You don't see numbers like that very often, so I think he's very deserving of the Defensive Player of the Year award. My honorable mention for Defensive Player of the Year is Trayvon Diggs, the cornerback from the Dallas Cowboys. My pick for the Offensive Rookie of the Year is Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from the Cincinnati Bengals. Chase finished the season with 81 receptions for 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns. He equaled almost 32% of Joe Burrow's passing yards and 38% of Burrow's touchdowns this season. He was 19 yards away from breaking the rookie single-season receiving yards record set by Billy Groman in 1960, and 5 touchdowns away from breaking the rookie single-season receiving touchdowns record set by Randy Moss in 1998. My honorable mention for the Offensive Rookie of the Year, although it may be controversial, is Rashawn Slater, the offensive tackle for the Los Angeles Chargers. My pick for the Defensive Rookie of the Year is Micah Parsons, the linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. He finished the season with 79 tackles, with 59 of those being solo tackles, 20 tackles for loss, 13 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. As a rookie, he finished 6th in the league in sacks, and he was 2 sacks away from breaking the rookie single-season sack record set by Javon Kearse in 1999, and he was 4 tackles for loss away from breaking the rookie single-season tackles for loss record set by Kendrell Bell in 2001. My honorable mention for the Defensive Rookie of the Year is Patrick Surtain II, the cornerback from the Denver Broncos. I'm your host, Parker Striha, and this has been the Striha Sports Podcast. Our random sport fact of the day is that boxing became a legal sport in 1901. As always, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever a new video gets posted.